Sensex, a overall rise in the price of share of goods and companies registered with Bombay Stock Exchange. The new GDP series released by the CSO in the February is with reference to base year of 93 and 94. Boom is the business activity are at high level with increasing income output and employment at macro level. Recession is gradual fall of income. And depression is unprecedented level of underemployment and unemployment, drastic fall in income output and employment. Recovery is the steady rise in the general level of price, income output and employment. Per capita income in India was 20 and was ascertained for the first time by the Dadabhai Naoroji. The rate of growth India export has shown an appreciable increase after 91. The government of India has resorted to devaluation. And UN Development Program is the Human Development Reports. NCAFR is Indian Human Development Report. Indira Gandhi Institute of Development Research is the Indian Development Reports, and World Bank is the World Development Report. Still into the vast million of workers, men and women who actually do the job, a sense partnership and the cooperative performances. It's a community development program. Gilt edge is the market government security. Gilt edge security are the government security traded to the stock exchange. They are called gilt edge because it is the interest will be paid and they will be redeemed on the due. They are considered as safe investment. The growth of rate of per capita income at current price is higher than that of the per capita income at constant price because the latter taken into account the rate of increase in the price level. Ministry of meeting WTO is labor related issue, environmental related issue, and resurgent India. It's we discussed before, and this all we discussed before. Now, Indian Human Development Report does not give for the sample village of unemployment related index. The first Indian Human Development Report was put forward in 2001 by the former Vice President of Planning Commission. It included the indication that education, health, economic well-being of access to amenity. Economic liberalization is the substantial change in industrial licensing policy. Economic liberalization to India started with the industrial delicensing for investment, public sector related policy and policy related to the foreign technology and स्वर्ण जयंती स्वरोजगार योजना, प्राइम मिनिस्टर रोजगार योजना. The fiscal deficit is the excess of total expenditure over total recipient borrowing. Budget deficit is excess of total expenditure over total recipient. Revenue deficit is excess of revenue expenditure over revenue deficit. Primary deficit is excess to total expenditure over total receipts. And the most appropriate measure of country economic growth is per capita real income. Consider the following factor regarding the industry. Capital business is not there. Consider the following statement. Union government Antyodaya Gram Vikas Yojana. This we discussed before. The first Indian state to have a human development report, it was Madhya Pradesh. Atlas Cycle Company is the Sonipat. Bharat Earth Movers is the Bangalore. India Farmer Fertilizer Cooperative Limited is Kalol. The first Indian state to have its human development report presented and released by Amartya Kumar Sen is Madhya Pradesh. The largest share of foreign direct investment went to engineering sector. The earlier name of the WTO was its GATT. Consider the following tax: corporate tax and custom duty. This we discussed before. Next one is the new wholesale price index released. It's 93-94. Consider the following statement regarding the Reserve Bank of India. So it is a banker to the central government, is formulate, administrate the monetary policy. It acts as an agent of government. No. It's handle the borrowing program of government. That is also no. So it's a banker, agent of the financial advisor of the state, currency issuing banker to the bank, custodian of the foreign exchange, controller of credit, monetary authority of India and regulation of financial system. Consider the following. So it's a market borrowing, treasury bill, and special security issued to the RBI. So all the above given component are included in the internal debt. Internal debt is a part of total government debt that is on to lender within the country, and the government borrowed by the issued government bonds, treasury bill. It also includes market borrowing by the government. Consider the following. It's is the Maharashtra, then Gujarat, then Karnataka, then Tamil Nadu. Maharashtra, then Gujarat, then Karnataka, then Tamil Nadu. National Agriculture Insurance Scheme. Its scheme was 1999. The price at which the government purchased for gains for maintaining the public distribution for building a buffer stock is known its procurement price. So the procurement price is the purchase food grain for the public distribution system and for building the buffer stock. Minimum support price is the Government of India the beginning of the sowing season for the certain crop, and CACP Commission for Agriculture output price is MSP is lower than the procurement price, and food grain are PSI to the various state for the public distribution system. Ceiling on the foreign exchange for the current account transaction heads was 2000. There was a fall in foreign currency also, so both are true. Next, with reference to the public sector undertaking, so it Mineral and Metal Corporation of India and Project Equipment Corporation. Last one is Objective Exports, that is not there. Next one is among the following major stock exchange, India Exchange, which recorded highest turnover, it's Bombay Stock Exchange. Next is in term of value, which of the following commodity accounted for the largest agriculture export, it is the marine products. Okay. Next is global, there is cereal, spices, tea and marine. So spices, tea and cereal is not, but marine product is the highest agriculture export. Global capital flow to developing country increased significantly during 19. It viewed the East Asian financial crisis and Latin American experiences. Which type of inflow is good for the host country? It's foreign direct investment. With reference to the wholesale price index, consider the following. So it is the in the new WPI series, the weight for the primary article has gone down to the percentage point, and the weight for the electricity has increased. And the new WPI series for the base 93-94 become the effective from April. So it's a 2000 only, and there is a WPI series weight for the primary article has gone 10%, and the electricity increased. Consider the following statement. The objective of National Renewable Fund set up in the February. It gives training and counseling for the worker affected by retrenchment and redevelopment of worker. Redevelopment is not given, only the retrenchment or VRS. Safeguarding the interest of the worker who may be affected by the technology of industry or closure of sick units was the basic objective establishment in the. It was to provide a social safety net to the worker who are likely to be affected by technological upgradation and modernization, and by providing the assistance to firm to cover the cost retaining and employment of the de-development of employees as a result of modernization and technological upgradation existing capacity, by providing funds compensation to employee affected by the restructuring closure of industrial unit both the public and private sector, by providing the funds for employee generation scheme in the organized and unorganized sector in order to provide a social safety. So the government introduced two schemes under the funds: voluntary retirement scheme for the central public sector undertaking and retraining scheme for rationalization of worker. The National Renewable Fund abolished the government and administration scheme was shipped to the Department of Public Enterprise Station. Country is said to be debt trap if it has to borrow to make interest payment and outstanding loans. Consider the following statement. It free float with any of the international currency, direct the exchange with the any other international currency at any prescribed place inside and outside the country. It acts just like any other international currency. That's not true. The full convertibility is a free final with any of the international currency and direct exchange with any other international currency. Country is said to be debt trap if it has the borrow to make interest payment on outstanding loan. With reference to power sector of India, rural electrification has been created as a basic minimum service under the Prime Ministerial Gramodaya Yojana. 100% foreign direct investment in the power is allowed, and the Union Ministry of Power has assigned a memorandum of understanding 14 sector that's wrong. Consider the following financial instruments in India: Industrial Finance Corporation, Industrial Credit and Investment Corporation, Industrial Development Bank of India, National Bank of India, all of four. Now next is currency with the public, demand deposit with the bank, and time deposit with the bank. So it's D is the answer. All of three is included. The broad money, currency with the public, demand deposit, and time deposit, all of the broad money. So M1 plus time liability is the narrow money, is the M1, and plus time liability is the M2, and M1 is currency plus public demands and other deposits in RBI is the M1. So it's a broad money, it's M3, so currency in the public, demand and time both will become here. The reference of the Indian public finance, consider the following statement. External liability exported to the union budget are based on the historical exchange and the continue of high borrowing was kept real interest rates high in the economy. Upward trend on the ratio of fiscal deficit recent year is adverse effect of private investment. Interest payment and the single largest component of non-planned revenue expenditure of the union public. So 2, 3 and 4 is there. Next is consider the following statement. It's a free float of international currency. It's direct exchange with any other international currency at any prescribed place inside and outside the country. It acts just like any other international currency that is not there. So this we discussed before. There is the question, which of the reference to the Indian public finance consider. So the continued high borrowing has kept real interest rate high. The upward trend in the ratio of fiscal deficit of GDP a recent year has adverse effect on the private investment. Interest payment is the single largest component of the non-planned revenue expenditure of the union government. And the external liability reported in the union budget are based on historical exchange that is not there. With reference to the government of welfare scheme, consider under the Antodaya Anna Yojana, the food grain are available to poorest of family 2, 3 and 1. Under National Old Age Pension Yojana, 75 per month of the central pension addition to the amount. Government of India allocated 25 kg of grain for below poverty line. It's D is the answer. Which one of the following committee recommended the abolition of reservation of item for the small scale sector in the industry? That is Abid Hussain committee. It was the Abid Hussain committee that recommended the abolition of reservation of item for the small scale secure industry. It submitted report 1997. Narasimham committee from 91 and 98 look into the financial and banking sector. Nayak committee constituted small scale industry. It suggested related to the institutional credit, and Rakesh Mohan committee was related to infrastructure development. With reference to the Indian economy, consider the following activity. It's trade and hotels, then it's financial and insurance, then agriculture, forestry, and then manufacturing. So first is trade, hotel, transport. Second, financial, insurance and real estate business, and third is one is agriculture, forestry, fishing, and two is the manufacturing is the last. So trade, finance, then manufacturing, then agriculture and forestry, fishing, and then manufacturing. Before that, agriculture, then manufacturing. India external debt increased from US 91158 million of March is it's a multidimensional and bilateral debt. Multilateral and bilateral debt. Consider the following statement. The World Intellectual Property Organization is specialized agency of Union Nation for the organization, and trade related aspect of intellectual property right agreement is binding on all WTO government. So least developed countries are not required to apply provision for TRIPS. That's not true. And the World Intellectual Property Right is specialized agency of UN. That's also true. But WIPO has a headquarters in Rome. That's not true. It's Geneva. World Development Report is an annual. It's an international bank of reconstruction and development. When domestic currency float freely with other international currency for the foreign exchange transaction is called the fully convertible currency. Tarapur committee was given the recommendation for fully convertible rupees, Indian rupees convertible on only current account balance of the payment. In India, the first bank of limited liability managed by the India and found 1881 was It was the Awadh Commercial Bank. With reference to the Government of India decision regarding the foreign direct investment during the year of 2001 and 2, consider the following statement. So it is out of 100% FDI allowed by the India in the tea sector, foreign firm would have to disinvest 33%, and regarding the FDI in print media in India, the single largest Indian shareholder is 26%. Both are true. Next is in India, last 5 year Indian software export have increased, and the software and service industry in India registered overall 28%. Both are right. Which one of the following is country has lowest GDP? It's India, China, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka. So it's India. Indonesia is we have more. Sri Lanka and China also more. Kelkar composition is recommendation for the tax reform. During the year of the value of the India total export declined, registering a negative growth 2.17. During the year of negative growth in the export was witnessed in the respect of iron and steel, coffee, textile and marine products. So A is false and R is true. The new tax regime, both A and R individually true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. So exim policy is liberal, market oriented in favor of global trade, and GATT has played a significant role in the liberalization of the economy. So there is both are true. Next is other statement are correct in the relation to the government welfare scheme. Antodaya Anna Yojana was started from December. Among the following commodities imported by the during the 2001, which one of highest term of rupee value? This is pearl, precious and semi-precious stone. Edible or organic and inorganic chemical and fertilizers से pearls and precious, semi-precious stone. Consider the following statement. So the maximum limit of shareholder of India promotion in private sector bank in India is 49%. Foreign direct investment up to 49% from all the sources permitted in private sector bank in India under the automatic route. 2 is right, 1 is not right. Consider the following statement. India import of crude and petroleum product during the accounted for 27% of India, and during the year India export has increased 10%. So 10% is wrong and it's 27% increase. Consider the following statement. In India, stamp duty on financial transaction are that is the appropriate by the union government and levied and collected by the state government. Not right, it's levied and collected by union government and appropriated by the union government. Stamp duty of financial transaction. Okay, now debenture of company are, this is the creditor, like debenture holder is the creditor who credits in the company, he is known the debenture holder. Next, the government holding BPCL is, it's between 50% and 60%. Next is the which one of the following statement is correct with reference to FEMA in India. So under the FEMA, violation of foreign exchange rule have ceased to be a criminal offence. So Foreign Exchange Management Act was passed, replacing the Foreign Exchange Regulatory Act. It was introduced as a step toward the opening of the Indian economy. Was introduced to make transaction of the international sector easier. The enforcement director is not authorized legally to arrest the prosecute the people of the violation of foreign exchange rule. Under the new act, violation of foreign exchange rule has ceased to be a criminal offence. Consider the following statement. The loan disbursed a farmers and Kisan Credit Card Scheme are covered under the Rashtriya Krishi Bima Yojana of life insurance. That's not true. The Kisan Credit Card holder provided personal accident insurance 50,000 for the accidental death. So B is true. Next is for the first time India had no trade deficit. For the first time India export crossed worth 50 billion. So A is false and B is like true, but it's old data, so we have no more intention to read this. National Housing Bank of Apex Institution of Housing Finance India was set up, wholly owned by subsidiary Reserve Bank of India. The Small Industrial Development Bank of India was established, wholly owned subsidiary of Industrial Development Bank of India. The both are true. Now, which one of the following is not recommendation of the task force on direct tax? under the chairmanship of Vijay Kelkar. So he is the increase in the exemption limit of personal income of 1.20 lakh for widow. In the last of the decades, which one of the following factor has attached to the higher foreign direct investment? It's service sector. Next is, which one of the following is correct? BJP had led to government has stripped APM administrative mechanism, has moved to the system of petroleum product at their cost. Also, the subsidy of the kerosene and domestic LPG are owned by Consolidated Fund of India. However, the Mashelkar committee has not at auto fuel policy. Rather, it met to examine the drugs regulatory, including the problem of spurious drugs in India. Next one is, which one of the following is the IT software service export? It's a Tata consultancy. Okay. Next one is, which one of the following statement not correct? So under the targeted public distribution, the family below poverty line are provided 50 kg food grain. So it's 35 kg food grain before that. Okay. Next, which of the following is correct decreasing sequence? So it is, first is fuel mineral, then is the metallic mineral, then non-metallic. Fuel, metallic, then non-metallic. Next is, consider the following statement. So Reserve Bank of India was nationalized on 1949 and the borrowing program of the Government of India is handled by the Department of Expenditure, Ministry of the Finance. So both are not correct. So it was established 1 January 1949 and borrowing program of the Government of India is mandated by RBI. Consider the following. India continue to be the dependent on the import to meet the requirement of oilseed in the country because farmers prefer to grow food grain with highly remunerative price. Most of the cultivation of oilseed crop continue to be dependent on rainfall, and oil from the seeds of free origin and rice grain have remained unexploited, and it is far cheaper to import oilseed than to cultivate the oilseed crop. It is far cheaper to import the oilseeds than to cultivate the oilseed crop. That is not true. Consider the following statement. It's 1 and 3. Regarding the procurement of food grain, Government of India follow a procurement target rather than open-ended procurement policy. For the distribution under targeted public distribution system, wheat and rice are issued by the Government of India at uniform central issue price and state union rate. The Government of India announced minimum support price only for cereals. That's also not true. Consider the following statement. The headquarters of International Organization for Standardization located in the Rome. ISO related to the quality management system and standard and relate to the environmental management. So ISO is the network of national standard and country on the basis of member with a central secretariat in Geneva, Switzerland that considers the system. Non-governmental organization, it's make the case in the United Nations system delegation of national government. Nevertheless, ISO occupies a special position between the public and private sector, and this is because on the one hand many of the member institutes are the part of government structure of this country or the mandated their government on the hands. Now next one is, consider the following statement. Sensex based on the 50 most important companies, it's the 30 most important companies, Nifty 50. Okay, for the calculating Sensex, all the stock exchange assigned proportional weightage, and New York Stock Exchange is oldest. It's not oldest. Okay, Amsterdam Stock Exchange, which is claimed to being oldest. Jia Modi is the AGB partner. Anuradha Desai is the Venkateshwar. Villu Morawala is the Bitcoin, and Meena Kaushik is the quantum market. Next, which one of the following pair are correctly matched? Is the Mundra Sage, it's Adani Group, CMC is the Tata Group, and IPCL is Reliance Group. Global Trust Bank has been amalgamated with the Punjab National Bank, and the second reports of the Kelkar Committee dealing with the direct indirect tax are maintained the original recommendation, including the abolition of exemption relating to the housing loans. So B is the correct answer. Which one of the following company has started a marketing network called the eChopal? Its ITC has started rural marketing network known the eChopal. For which one of the following item is the Tripur well known for the huge exporter to many parts of the world? is the knitted garment. So the Tichur is the city of state Tamil, and from the Coimbatore, Tichur is located region was part of the ancient Chera Empire and Kongu Nadu region. Next is BRS Natarajan is the Bharat Earth Mover Limited. AK Puri is the Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited. C. B. Tholasida is the Air India, and Jagdish is the Maruti Udyog Limited. B.V. Rao is the Management Science. C.K. Prahlad is the Management Science. John Kurian is the Fishery Economy. Kiran Karnik is Information Technology. Which one of the following airport in India is the first to owned by the public limited company? It's the Bangalore Airport. Next is the Mon is in Assam, Nalbari district in Assam, Mon in Nagaland, and Nasighat is Arunachal Pradesh, and Tura in the Meghalaya. Next is under which of the Ministry Government of India does the Food and Nutrition Board works? Is work Ministry of Women and Child Development. Consider the following statement. During the year, India foreign exchange reserve did not exceed the $125 billion mark. The series of index number of wholesale price index from April has the year of the base year is second. So during the 2004, India foreign exchange reserve did not exchange the $125. Next is who among the following is the president of the FICCI? He is the Omkar S. Kumar. Next is the consider the following statement is poverty reduction and growth facilitation has been established by International Development Association to provide further assistance to the low income country. Singapore Regional Training Institute is one of the institutes that provide the training in the macroeconomic analysis and policy related to part of the program of IMF Institute. Next is integrated steel plant at the Jajpur Steel Authority. Power plant of Jamnagar is the SR Power. B is the answer. Which one of the following country is not a member of ASEAN? So he is the Bangladesh. Bangladesh is not the member of ASEAN. Consider the following statement after National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. So here is the under the provision of the Act, 100 days of the employment in the year of every household whose adult member is volunteer to do unskilled manual work has become fundamental right. It's not a fundamental, it's a legal right. Under the provision of the Act, women are the priority to extend one half, it's one third. Now next one is balance of payment representation a better picture of the country economic transaction with the rest of the world, and balance of trade and balance of payment take into account exchange of both visible and invisible item in balance. Next one is consider the following statement respect to welfare scheme. Drinking water for the rural areas one of the component of Bharat Nirman Plan. In the National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, there is provision for the statutory minimum wage application at agriculture worker in state. So both are true. Which one of the following statement is correct? It's a both fiscal deficit and revenue deficit is budget FRBM Act. Now next, which one of the following India Bank is not a nationalized bank? That is Federal Bank is not a nationalized bank. Which one of the following company is associated with the exploration and commercial production of oil in Barmer Sachar Basin? That is the Cairn Energy. Cairn Energy has the made up and the oil discovery in the wall and the block. The initial place of oil estimate made the Cairn Energy discovery range between the 450 and 1100 million barrel. So it's the company has made total life of discovery in the block. Next is with reference to the steel industry in India and the return of times, it's both Vijag Steel and merger of ISCO. Which one of the following not of the Shanghai Corporation? It's Ukraine, Russia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan is the member, Ukraine is not. The National Housing Bank was set up in India as a wholly owned subsidiary of which one of the following is Reserve Bank of India. National Housing Bank was set up in India as a wholly owned subsidiary of which one of the following? It's Reserve Bank of India. Which one of the following is the correct sequence of the decreasing order? First is rice, then wheat, then coarse cereal, then last is pulses. Which one of the following is correct statement in service tax? It's an indirect tax by the central government. Consider the following statement. Life Insurance Corporation of India is the oldest. It's not a holidays. National Insurance Company Limited 1972 and made a subsidiary of General Insurance. Headquarter of Union Indian Insurance Company Limited located in Chennai. Both are true. Consider the following statement. In India during the financial year an increase in below 10% over the value of export in the financial year is this, and it's all data. Okay, the agreement on South Asian trade association was effect of December. This is also all data. Next one is consider the following. China has observer status of the South Asian Association and India has the observer status in the Shanghai. So both are not correct. China not has the observer in ASEAN and India is not observer of Shanghai, but India is the now permanent member, so it's all data also. Consider the following statement. The national-wide scheme for national child labor project run by the Union Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and it's not Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment for the child labor, it's Ministry of Women and Child Development maybe. So Department of Labor here, it's given national child labor projects because it depend on labor. Okay, and the Guruba the Swami committee, that's true. The repo rate is the rate at which the other bank borrow from the RBI of India, and the value of one Gini coefficient in the country imply that it's perfectly equal income for the everyone. One is for the equality, okay, and repo rate in the rate of the other bank is borrow Reserve Bank of India. MCA 21 is the e-governance. Okay, which one of the following is the correct sequence in the decreasing order of consideration of decreasing sectors? Service, then industry, then agriculture.